All right, welcome to episode 2 of the Sinister Simps. I apologize for looking crusty and my lips look dusty. I just woke up, but I am here with James and Keith. Say what's up.
What's up, everybody? And I just want to throw it out there that Paul is looking very handsome and very goth.
Woo woo woo. Jawline sharp as a blade. Mustache glorious and full.
This episode is about hyping up Paul right now.
That part. We're not even gonna talk about nerd stuff. We're
Yeah.
just gonna talk about how great Paul looks right now. You know what I'm saying?
You guys are the best.
We love you, Paul. We miss you. We
miss
want
you.
you in this room
Yeah, I
right
miss
now.
y'all. I miss y'all too. But let's get into it.
For sure.
So I think let's kick it off with some Shang-Chi talk.
Mhm.
So, James, I'll start with you. What did you think of the movie?
I thought it was amazing. For a movie with very little I'm not gonna say marketing, I'm gonna say knowledge, because not a lot of people know Shang-Chi, not a lot of people know Mandarin, which that's not even what he goes by in the film. Oh, let me pause real quick. Spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen the movie.
Good call.
Might want to skip ahead 20, 35 minutes, if you don't want to get spoiled by the movie, because we're going to go in on this movie. No, it's a movie. But yeah, I thought it was great with how very little information is on it in the comic book world versus, MCU. Great cinematography, great casting, great acting, the whole 9 yards, and how it fits into the MCU with this new phase. I think it's a good start to the whole. Like I said, that's the continuation of the next 10 years or so.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely been 10 years. Yeah,
For
I
sure.
I honestly feel like to start off this next phase, it was a cool little way to just ease into it. You know what I'm saying? You have this character that's very relatable. He's just kind of going through life. He's almost like an old kid. Like he doesn't really has it all figured out. Which you know I'm kind of like that. I'm sure we're all kind of like that. We're all just trying to find our destiny, if you will, and for to have that natural humor with his friend. What was her name? Katie. And
I'm glad you remembered it, 'cause I did.
yeah. I was thinking Aquafina because that's her real.
That's a real
Yeah,
stage name.
yeah, that's crazy. What is she, like a performer or something? I don't
She's a
know.
comedian.
Oh, is she? Okay, cool. Well, yeah, she's
She's a
hilarious.
comedian.
Okay, Aquafina, awesome, great name. But to have them, and just to reintroduce us to the world after the blip and all that, and to just go into this very dramatic family dynamic drama with just with kung fu action and fantasy. Oh, dude, as a kung fu fan, that movie was amazing. Like you could tell from, and I don't want to go off too hard here, but you could tell in that first fight scene on the bus that you could see so much like Jackie Chan influence in there,
Yes.
just in that battle. And as the movie progressed, even the beginning fight scene, I almost forgot with the parents. Like the mother had a very like Tai Chi flow to her, while the father was very more
Kung fu,
kung fu,
wushu.
wushu. Yeah, exactly. So you could tell that the people who made this movie did their research. They didn't just like, oh, you know, we're just gonna throw it all together and see what happens. It's like no, like all the different fighting styles and this great storyline about family. Like it almost made me feel like I can't think of the villain's name, but the father, the Mandarin, if
I
you
think it
will.
was Zhu Why Who.
Yeah.
I can't remember his
Yeah.
name.
Either way,
Mandarin.
but he was a great villain. He's on that list of Killmonger and
Low-key.
Thanos, where you could actually relate to him. He was a widow. He lost his wife and he lost his relationship with his kids, and all he wants is to have all that back in a way.
Right.
But he's going about it the wrong way. So I think it had a great villain as well, and I was a fan of the movie.
But is he going about it the wrong way though? So
kind of like a
I mean, like,
leader of a terrorist group, so maybe.
well, I mean, like, you sit there and you look at his progression in life, because I think like this is a great example of Marvel doing villains really great,
Hmm.
which I hate that he died by the end of it because I would have loved to see him again in a sequel.
Yeah.
You know, but this is again, like I said, one of the better examples of a villain done well. Because the whole time you're watching his story and the whole dynamic of everything, you think to yourself, man, I really don't see a bad guy here. You know, like yeah, he's doing conqueror stuff, terrorist stuff, but one, he's from an era, obviously thousands of years
Yeah.
ago, where that was the commonplace thing. You know, you go, you conquer a territory, you build up an empire, so on and so forth, and then, you know, he's a bad guy. He's killing people. He's solidifying his power, and then he just gets bored of it.
Hmm.
You know, and then what happens? He ends up finding this ancient area for secret power, the village of Taolong, and instead of finding power, he finds the love of his life, and that changes him. Something new, something, wow, this is different. I never thought I could be this person. I never thought I could love, and that gets taken away from him.
Hmm.
And you sit there and you're watching this, and you got to think to yourself, would I be any different in that position? You know, because I'm sitting there watching this, and I really want to take my dad to see it. I'm planning on doing it this weekend. And I'm watching this, and I'm like, God, I can see my dad relating to this character a lot.
Yeah.
You know, it is like this strong, powerful person, you know, has a change of heart. This happens, and he reacts this way.
Yeah.
You know, my dad loves martial art films, so I can see him like vibing with the whole thing, you know? But it's like, you sit there and you watch, like, the scene when he takes a young Shang-Chi to the rival gang's bar.
Hmm.
You know, he has the rings on and all that.
Oh yeah.
He had this moment where he's like, if I never would have stopped being the person I was, my wife would still be alive. You know?
True. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, he makes his son watch him just clean house. You know, and like the very last thing is like, you know, he's interrogating the guy, and he's like, "Yo, where's your boss?" He's like, "I don't know. I believe you." Boom, just nukes him,
ends him. Yeah.
just wipes him out. I'm like, "Yeah, we saw that coming."
Yeah.
You know, and he's like, "Yo, we're here to get revenge for your mom." And I'm just like, I could, like, if I was in his position, you know, I watch my mom fight off these bad guys and die. I'm of course gonna want to clean house too.
Yeah. No, it's true, man. It's true. Definitely. Definitely. That family dynamic in that movie was really great. What about you, Paul? What did you think of the film?
I really liked it. I think it was awesome. I got the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon vibes from like that opening fight scene between the parents. A lot of parallels with Jackie Chan on the bus. Yeah, overall I loved it. The cinematography was phenomenal. You know, the fights sequences are great. And like this movie's kind of a hero right now because people like the companies are waiting and seeing, you know, how it was going to do and basing off its success if the movies were going to be delayed or not. And you know, after seeing how well it did, you know, Labor Day weekend, you see that Venom 2 got pushed back to October 1st. So it's just like I'm very thankful for Shang-Chi. Like it was awesome. It was better than we deserved. And it's the what's the hero? What's that line in Batman? He's like it's the hero we deserve.
It's not the hero we deserve; it's the hero we need.
Ooh.
Yeah, yeah. That was
Definitely.
Shang-Chi. That was Shang-Chi.
The hero we needed.
and,
Yeah.
and I'm so
the
happy
movie
for
was
that
awesome.
actor too, man, because he
Oh,
definitely seems like he
Dude, that guy is hilarious
He
because
is so
people were
funny.
making like they were making jokes on Twitter because he was a stock photo model
Mm-hmm.
and he after the movie blew up he started using those pictures as memes and it was like a picture of him in a board meeting and he's like pointing and it's like Shang-Chi leading the Avengers and then there's
Yes.
one of him like doing fitness and it's like Shang-Chi training the Avengers and he's just like just posted.
That's so good,
But
but he's so funny,
he's a
man. He
funny
has so much
dude. Yeah,
charisma.
I love that he could roll with the trolls and
Mhm.
like you know what I'm saying. Like he's with it.
He's very down to
I'm
earth.
excited to have him in the MC. I'm excited to have him in the MCU.
No, for sure. What was some of your favorite scenes in the movie? I know we kind of already hit some spots. You know, the bus scene was definitely one of my favorite fight scenes in the movie.
Bro, when the song "Run It" drops for that scene, I got hyped.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
It's like "Run It."
Uh-huh. Oh, dude, it was great.
My favorite scene is definitely when they get to the club, like the fight club, and you see Abomination and Wong fighting each other. That was an awesome scene. Like even though you know it was very small and it really counted for nothing, it was awesome just to see those two. And then the scene at the end when um when the soul eaters are like coming out of the wall and they're like, we have to work together. And he's like, no, you're lying. And then it just totally wrecks the dude in the mask, like that we
Yeah,
thought was
dude.
gonna be an OP character. Just kills him.
Exactly. He got wrecked. And it's like, all
And they're
right,
just
we'll work
like,
together.
all right, we should work together. And then the scene with the dragon, when it first appeared to Shang-Chi in the water, I thought that scene was just wild. Like, it just
Mhm.
looked so dope.
Can we
For
talk about how
sure.
beautiful that dragon was?
Oh man, the
Yes.
Guardian.
Like the design, the whole look of the dragon was beautiful.
Yeah, Chinese mythology
Yeah.
brought to life.
Right?
Seriously.
I think my
looked
favorite
really good.
scene was when Shang-Chi and his dad are fighting and the rings separate and they have like a little tug of war match, and then Shang-Chi ends up doing like a Kamehameha on the dragon,
Yes.
the evil creature at the end. But my biggest thing with the little tug of war between Mandarin and Shang-Chi was, if you notice, the rings, when Shang-Chi had them, they had like a wind calming effect on them. When Mandarin had them, they were chaotic and had lightning on them.
Yes.
Like his internal was always in friction.
Yes, Paul.
Oh, just real quick, just because I don't want to forget it. But when you brought up the Mandarin, I love that they brought back Ben Kingsley
Yes.
for
Oh,
that cameo
good
appearance.
call.
Yeah, and I just wanted to bring that up, just so we don't forget. I want to come
Mhm.
back to that. But
Yeah, he was
James definitely.
yeah, he was like the jester,
Bro, I
like
love
the
it.
comic relief.
Like they
He
wanted
was
to
he was like the true comic relief of the movie.
wanted to
And what was
execute him.
what was the creature's name?
Oh,
That,
it was like
his-
Maurice. I need to look this up.
The little butt face
yeah,
like
yeah. And he's
wing
like, oh,
thing.
you can see him too. And he's
Oh,
like,
Maurice.
so I'm
Yeah, I
not
think
Maurice.
it was Maurice.
Maurice. He's like, you can see him too. He's like, oh, I'm not crazy. He's like, oh, this is great. Like,
That is so great. Yeah, honestly, I feel like if there was gonna be any connection to the Iron Man series, that's a good one to do. You know, I mean, they brought up
well,
maybe what's up.
oh, I was just saying that was a good way to like retcon what had happened. You know what I'm saying? Because people were
Mhm.
very disappointed and stuff. So for him to explain, he's like, they referred to me as the Mandarin. He's like, that's hilarious. He's like, can you imagine like being afraid of an orange? So I
Yes.
like
An
how they did that,
orange
like to
almost
get
trumped the
rid
Western
of
world.
that whole, that whole how it kind of went in Iron Man 3 and people were disappointed. I like how they retconned it and fixed it with Shang-Chi.
For sure, for sure.
Which is funny because back in the day, it was years ago, they had these little clip things, little clip videos, little shorts of stuff outside the films. There was one for Coulson and the guy who ended up being part of Hydra,
Yeah.
where they were talking about add-ons for the Avengers program, and Abomination was mentioned,
Ooh.
you know,
Mhm.
and what was it? They tried to. The dynamic was essentially them trying to make sure Abomination didn't get picked over Bruce, you know, which was that tied in the last Hulk movie
Mhm.
into it. And then there was another short clip, was like 10, 15 minutes long, and it was called The 10 Rings.
It was Hail to the King.
It was Hail to the King.
That's what it was
That's what it
called.
was,
Yep.
yes. And it's literally this guy interrogating Trevor, Ben Kingsley's character, and it ends up being that he's part of the 10 Rings. He's like, yeah, the man's name who you stole, or his image, he's angry. And that's when they kidnap him.
Yes.
So they tried retconning it years ago. They just didn't do anything with it till now.
Mhm.
Which again, I am like super, super happy about.
Oh, for sure.
Zhu Wenwu is his name.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay,
he's-
Wenwu. I'm like,
Jamie, pull that up.
let me pull it up. I was not gonna leave here without saying his name properly.
One of my favorite parts in the movie, and I just want to throw this in there, is when they were at the underground club,
Mhm.
the fight club, and the Mandarin's like forces start coming in and just infiltrating the whole place, and they have that crazy fight
Mhm.
on the side of the building. There's so much Jackie Chan shenanigans in that fight
Yes.
where
Rush Hour 2. That was
What
straight
is it?
Rush Hour 2 right
Yes,
It
there.
was
that's
straight
where my
Rush
mind
Hour
went to.
When they're fighting on the bamboo.
Yes, dude,
And
exactly. And I
when
was
he
just
was
having so
hanging
much
off,
fun.
I was thinking of that scene where he's like, Lee, we're gonna die. He's like, no, Chinese bamboo's very strong.
And this is breaking.
Yeah, man, I just had to throw that in there. Besides everything that we've been mentioning, in the film, like that was one of my favorite scenes. I was just having so much fun watching that. It's just the cinematography and what is it called? The fighting.
Choreography.
Yes, yes,
Choreography.
was just off the charts. Probably the best fighting we ever seen in any Marvel movie, hands down.
I agree. I think I would say for me one of the funniest moments, top two funniest moments for me in the film was when Katie,
Yes,
Katie,
I
she
think so.
gets jumped by the villain, one of the ninjas in the balcony scene, and she starts singing Hotel California. I was like, yes, distraction. And then the second scene where they're
Didn't
all
even work either.
it didn't work. Well, no, it did for like a few seconds. He
was like, what
paused,
the heck?
you know.
Yeah.
And then the second scene when Ben Kingsley was like passed out in the battleground, and then Maurice was walking up to him like all concerned. He's like, "It's called acting," you know, and he just falls out.
Yeah, yeah.
And the creature's like, plays dead.
Yeah, falls on his back.
I was like, yes, I love it.
Those were good moments, man. Overall, really good film, though, man. A good way to start off this new phase. And, I mean...
And then like the Wong tie-ins and stuff. And
yes.
isn't it interesting
Yes.
that like it was interesting that Wong and Abomination have a partnership to raise black market money.
Yeah, is that what's happening? I don't even know what's going on in that scene, to be honest.
I feel like I think
Or it's like low-key training. Like, hey, let's go out here and
but
train
they
a little
went
bit.
together back into a secret room.
Yeah.
And it looked like some kind of holding facility. Not really.
Mm-hmm.
So what I think that in the 5 years that the majority of the heroes were gone, one of them being Doctor Strange, the current Sorcerer Supreme,
Yeah.
Wong had to kind of pick up the pace. So I
Oh.
think that instead of
That's
going
great.
the normal Thunderbolt route, they're splitting up the Thunderbolts between Lady Hydra,
Mhm.
and the more mythical side of it's going to be with Wong.
Like a alternate defenders, if you will.
Yeah.
Like in the comics.
'Cause it would make sense that within the 5 years that everyone was gone, Wong needed help. So,
Yeah.
hey, I don't have a Bruce Banner. He's doing his own thing with the Avengers. So who am I going to get? Oh, I got a meal.
Yeah.
You know? With, I mean, like, Abomination. Like, how does that dynamic work? Because Abomination is, you know, Abomination.
Yeah,
How the hell did
exactly.
him and Wong end up on, like, friendly terms?
Who knows, man? Who knows?
So, like, I'm sure that's going to be something we're going to get in the future. And then
Mhm.
by the end of the credit scene, you have Bruce and Captain Marvel talking to Shang-Chi and Wong.
Yes.
Like, why does Wong have to be intermediary? So, like, Wong's being set up as the new Coulson,
Exactly.
you know? So it's like, I feel like he already has a set team. We just
Mhm.
haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. Okay. I like
know?
that. I like that. See, I was always under the impression that Wong got dusted at the end of Infinity War, but we don't. That
That was never confirmed.
that was never confirmed.
Nor
So the
even
idea of
implicated.
him actually like picking up the pace and it's like, hey, we need to get a new team while everyone else is gone. It's like I like that. I like that concept. I kind of feel like it's still the Thunderbolts route. To be honest, that's
Just-
kind of
just
what
more
I
of a roundabout way.
yeah, in a roundabout way. But who knows, man? Honestly, I feel like that's a good that after credit scene to
Mhm.
see that Wong is kind of the Coulson figure with Captain Marvel and Bruce Banner and now Shang-Chi. It's like now he's just building this bigger team, and who knows what that's going to build into. Obviously, the next Avengers, and the fact that the 10 rings.
The 10 rings.
Yes, let's talk about that a little bit.
Oh, yes. I completely forgot
Mhm.
about this part of the information that I was, you know, scrounging around after the movie. With the whole end credit scene, like, it's a beacon, right?
Yes.
And neither Captain Marvel nor Bruce know what the hell the rings are. I was, you know, doing my internet searching, rumor stuff, and all that jazz. There's a theory going around that the 10 rings aren't from that time.
Ooh.
Galactus.
No,
Ooh.
Kang.
Kang?
Okay.
Are we getting back to Kang right now? Oh
We
no,
we are.
which
So,
is fine because he's the big bad.
yeah.
So makes
So
sense.
the rumors that have been circulating, because neither Captain Marvel shouldn't see anything like that in the universe, and Bruce doesn't know anything about them. Like, which Bruce isn't the smartest person around right now, but he still has an extensive knowledge. He can't find nothing on the radiation mark, nothing on any markings or whatnot. So the theory going around is that not the fact that they're not from around that universe, they're not from that time. So with Kang being the character that he is, he could have, you know how Kang, when he was Rama Tut, he went back in time to pre-Egyptian days. He could have made those rings, went back in time with them, and when he went back to wherever the hell he went to, he left the rings there in ancient times. And then Wenwu
Ah.
found them.
Yeah.
Because the biggest thing with the 10 rings is each ring has its own ability.
Yes.
You know,
in
its
the
own.
comics they do.
In the
In
comics
movie,
they
they
do.
didn't
They
really
didn't.
touch on that.
But
But
the
when they had a different wielder, obviously
they changed,
they changed colors, so maybe they do have some type of power like that.
and
I don't know.
that's the thing with a lot of the rumors circulating is that uh as far as the story's progressing, some people think that because Wenwu has no idea how they worked, he just used them with complete abandon, that they belong to Kang. And as the story for Shang-Chi progresses, he's going to figure out how the rings work and how they really are. You know, they're not on the level of an Infinity Gauntlet, but they're pretty powerful. And it makes sense because it's like if you bring technology from however far in the future, you know, to the past, it's like us bringing a shotgun to a caveman.
Oh yeah,
That he's not going to know how to pull the trigger. He's just going to know the thing as a club and beat someone over the head with it.
that's true. That's a good point. And also, I was thinking like how I was watching an interview with Kevin Feige, and how he was saying that Shang-Chi with those rings is almost on the same power level as Hulk or Thor.
Yeah.
Which is really exciting to hear. So he's a heavy hitter. And now that you're mentioning that those rings maybe have even more power in them that he doesn't even know how to use,
Yeah.
like where is he going to go from there, you know?
Well, the thing is, in the comics, when Mandarin finds the rings, and this is the one thing I like about where they're taking Shang-Chi is because in the comics, the origin story for Mandarin and Shang-Chi is kind of like whatever.
Mhm.
Like their stories, their intro stories are meh, literally, meh, like whatever. Like no, like it's not exciting. It's not, you know, the basis for, which is why like whenever Wenwu was describing who he is, oh, I've been called many names. I've been called Conqueror, this, that, and the third. It was because in the comics he never had a real definitive introduction. He says,
Mhm.
"Oh, I'm Iron Man's villain. I'm this, that, and the third. I sent my terrorist organization to capture Tony Stark, and that's how you get Ironmonger, and then so on and so
Mhm.
forth." So it's like the only thing that they touched on in the comics really was how he got the rings, and that's the two main things that have always really changed. In one instance, he found a cave, and there was a metal dragon in it, which was an alien ship, but it just looked like a dragon.
Yeah.
And inside, he found a dead alien and 10 rings. And then he figured out how their powers worked. He became his conqueror. And he always changed his origin story to kind of instill fear into people. You know, hence Trevor and that whole Iron Man 3 spiel. And then there's another thing, another intro, where it was a similar concept. He found the ship, but the alien was alive in there. He got the 10 rings from the alien, and the alien took him all over the galaxy showing him stuff. And then he killed the alien, came back, you know?
Mhm.
So the rings are always of outside origin. And the fact that they didn't say that they were of alien origin, like you have Captain Marvel co-signing, hey, these aren't from any other place in the universe. So where did they come from? They're not
Yeah.
celestial.
Mhm.
They're not Kree Empire, you know. So the only explanation is that they came from outside of that universe, which the only thing outside that universe at the moment is Kang.
Okay.
So
I like it. I like it.
again, that's why I like how they're taking the story because they're taking something that has nothing
Mm.
and just kind of expanding on it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
That's sick as hell. I like that concept. I'm excited, man. I'm excited for the future, dude.
I am.
Because honestly, like, there's these little building blocks that they're just, just throwing in there. It's like, how do they connect? Oh, we'll see soon enough. I mean, dude, the internals alone is gonna be like just a gateway of new information for us and an entertaining movie as well. But just to build up to that next phase,
Oh
too.
yeah.
I'm just so excited.
Yeah, yeah, man, definitely. So moving on from Shang-Chi, we definitely got to talk about the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer
Oh yes.
Hi, Peter.
finally being released. And holy shit, um, the trailer was everything we could have asked for. I mean, you got hints at Electro, you got hints at Sandman, possible hints at Lizard or Scorpion. We saw a pumpkin bomb in combination with Norman Osborn's laugh. And then we saw the man, the myth, the legend, Alfred Molina as Doc Ock confront Peter at the end, and he calls him by his name, hey Peter, that super iconic trailer line. So it was awesome. It was definitely everything we were hoping for. Made me super stoked for the movie, created even more questions, theories. Like it was awesome. But James, what did you think about it, man? Were you disappointed? Was it worth the wait?
Worth the wait. Oh my god, I watched that trailer like 1,000 times. What? Like the whole thing from Doctor Strange ripping open the whole freaking timeline. Wow, what are words? And then like my favorite part is when the claw just comes out of the ground, tracks back, and you see like the motion, the eye, and the iconic sound they made from the original movie. That little skittering noise, and then he just pops up. I was like, oh, and the fact that they used the classic claw design was
Chef kiss.
yes, like phenomenal. I loved it. Loved everything about it.
Yeah, dude. I was so hyped. So, okay. Obviously, last time we had a podcast, I talked about how I don't watch movie trailers. Well, I had to watch this fucking movie trailer. I had to. I spent a couple hours being like, oh, dude, should I do it? Should I do it? And I watched that thing like 15 times on this first day.
You heard it here, folks, on Sinister Simps. Keith caved.
Yeah, I caved in. I'm sorry. I'm a weak man.
Nah,
but
you
it's
had to.
but it's Spidey, man. That's my guy. That's my guy. I'm wearing the shirt
It
right
was
now. I love it,
amazing.
bro. And
So
everything. Well,
Well,
everything we
no,
were
let you
talking.
finish, sorry.
Yeah, well, everything we were talking about in the past, like the last podcast, we predicted that shit. I feel like we were predicting a lot. You know, we really did, man. We were like, dude, we were like, Doctor Strange is gonna get in there. He's gonna fuck shit up at the timeline. Boom! All these Spidey villains are gonna come up. Sinister Six, and we were like, we got it. We got it.
So we gotta talk about Doctor Strange in the trailer.
Okay.
Oh,
A little sus.
Because
I think I know where this is gonna go. Okay.
what first started as a meme joke has turned into, kind of a legit theory. So people, were like, "Oh, Mephisto's gonna be in No Way Home," because that picture when Peter's walking and you see the horns and stuff like that. Started as a joke when the trailer dropped. As people started watching the trailer more and more, they're like, "Hey, why is Doctor Strange so chill right now? And why was he so willing to do that when his character, previously, he definitely started out as the bad boy, surgeon, but then after going through all he went through, when you see him in Infinity War and Endgame, he was very by the book. And like when it came to, protecting the universe and stuff, like opposite Tony Stark, he was way more serious than Tony, took it more seriously. So now in No Way Home, it's like a complete 180. Now he's like super chill, like he's chilling, in his sweats and stuff. And Peter's like, "Is there any way we can erase people's memories?" Like, "Oh, it'll possibly mess with the timeline, but fuck it, let's do it." And then he's doing it while Peter is there and messing thing up and talking to him and stuff. Like it just did not seem Doctor Strange to me. What do y'all think?
Ooh.
Does this have legs?
I think so.
I don't think so.
No?
No. So my thing is, yes, Doctor Strange was a little more serious in Infinity and Endgame, but if you look at things like not Infinity / Endgame, look at Thor Ragnarok, right? Okay. When Thor went to go visit him and stuff, he's looking for Odin, blah blah blah. Like he goes in there and he's chilling with Thor, and the whole time he's like, "You want a drink?" And he's just filling up his beer stein. He's chill, he's very relaxed. Like he has and had lax moments. He's not as serious as people think. I think it's just because the severity of what Infinity War and Endgame was, that it kind of put off the.
I mean, like this lax though to do this kind of spell.
Well, let's again. We're just seeing what we see off the trailer. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, for sure.
So like, and of course, things are always prone to change, how trailers always do. And yeah, he's just like, Wong's like, "Oh, whatever you do, you cannot cast that spell." He's like, "I'm not." Winks, One, like, Mephisto doesn't, he has that power, but Mephisto, the way he works is in deals. You know what I'm saying? There wasn't a deal struck there. Mephisto, the way he works is, "Oh yeah, you want A, B, C, and D. I want this." Which is funny because Mephisto doesn't really need souls. He just does it because he's bored. Like, I'm a demon, I want souls, because he has the power to do whatever the hell he wants. He's like, "I need your soul for this." Like in was it New Day? This
Brand New Day.
Brand New Day, where
Brand New Day.
he traded
One More Day.
One More Day.
Yeah.
Yeah,
where he
One More Day,
traded
yeah.
his relationship, he traded his marriage and his daughter for Aunt May's life from
Yeah.
Mephisto.
Terrible deal.
Terrible deal. Horrible deal. It was fucked. Which I mean, they end up back together in the future anyway, a later story, and
Mhm.
you know, whatever. But again, it's like Mephisto doesn't work the way that Doctor Strange does. If on the off chance it is another entity, it would be more likely to be Nightmare, not Mephisto.
Okay.
Only because with Shang-Chi, they kind of confirmed the Nightmare realm with the giant fiend creature demon,
The
the
Cthulhu. No, I'm just
the
kidding.
Cthulhu dragon monster. You know what I'm saying? Which in the comics is an actual fiend lord, a fear lord is what they call them.
Okay.
So the fear lords, just think of like your run of the mill demons. Not run of the mill, but Mephisto is a fear lord.
Mhm.
Nightmare is a fear lord.
Okay.
Blackheart, Helya, she's a fear lord. Rulers of hell, you know. So with Shang-Chi, the final monster boss at the end technically is a fear lord. So that kind of confirms the existence of Nightmare, Mephisto. And if they were going to go the route of this being a misplaced Doctor Strange, it would be Nightmare. I don't think it is, only because in the process of fixing the damage that Peter did because he wouldn't shut his damn mouth, if you notice in the trailer, they're fighting each other. You know what I'm saying? Spider-Man and Doctor Strange.
Mhm.
So this was a theory that was put on to me. The box in the trailer that Doctor Strange is holding is imprisoning the Sinister Six. And when Doctor Strange does the whole, spirit mojo blasting Peter Parker away deal, he's trying to put back the timeline the way it's supposed to be. What the rumors going around is that timeline gets ripped open, multiverse is overlapping, and Peter comes into contact with the Sinister Six, and this version of Peter is still very naive. He hasn't had that coming to God moment that the majority of the other Spider-Men have had. He hasn't had a really impactful death. Yeah, Tony Stark was an impactful death, but it wasn't an unjust death. Like Tony sacrificed himself to save everybody. An unjust death was, Gwen Stacy with the Green Goblin scene.
An Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yes.
Or Uncle Ben.
Uncle Ben. Which they haven't mentioned an Uncle Ben scene in this Spider-Man's life, so he hasn't had an unjust death to him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he hasn't had anything really traumatic happen to make him, okay, I need to really start taking my hero stuff seriously. He's still kind of innocent in the hero eyes. So, hero world, hero mindset. And the theory going is that when the Sinister Six get pulled into his world, their memory is shot to hell, except for one thing. They all die at the hands of Spider-Man. The last thing they remember is dying. So what they tell Peter is, hey, if we get sent back to our original worlds, we die. Not that you kill us, but we die. You know what I'm saying? And Peter being, we saw how he was with Mysterio, and I'm sure he's traumatized by, like, okay, I let a villain die at my hands. Yeah, he was bad, but he died on my watch. And he's getting flack for it now. So I imagine the way the scenes play out, they have the conversation. Peter's like, listen, my life was a wreck. This person died on my watch, whatever. The media's saying this, and Doctor Strange sees it. The world sees it. I need help, And hence the conversation, oh, the problem is you're living two lives in one. You can't do that, So Peter, knowing that the villains get sent back to their death, his innocent mind's like, okay, you can't send them back because they'll die. That's where their fight scene ties into. That's why he's holding some kind of box and he pushes Peter away. Because the box is holding them. If I get the box away from him, I can save these people that may or may not be villains. At least give them a chance. But it's the weight of responsibility, great power, great responsibility conversation.
Yeah.
I have the power to save these 6 lives. Why not let me save them? And Doctor Strange is on the, well, they don't belong here. Saying, yeah, I know I try to help you, but understand where we are at and where these guys got to be. They can't be here. So that's where I think the first half of the movie is going to be Peter versus Doctor Strange. You know what I'm saying? Doctor Strange trying to do him a solid, and Peter shitting the bed, and him trying to take it a little too far. 'Cause if you notice with a lot of the Spider-Man films with Tom Holland, that's been the running theme. Something happens, his good conscience gets the better of him, it spirals out of control, and then he has to fix it. You know,
And he always gets the assist.
he always gets the assist, whether it was from Iron Man, now Doctor Strange,
Mhm.
you know, or Nick Fury with the Mysterio
Or
film.
Happy Hogan in a way.
Happy, yeah. It was like with the whole Vulture thing. Oh, I feel bad for him. You know, my date's dad is the villain. You know, Michael Keaton, love him. Hope to see him again. But it's like,
Morbius.
yeah, you know, it's like you see that he felt sympathetic.
Mhm.
That went south. Mysterio felt sympathetic. Gave him the glasses. That went south.
Mhm.
He's a Sinister Six. We're gonna die. That's gonna go extremely south.
Yeah.
So it's like, how many times do we have to go through this before it clicks in your head? You cannot be this sympathetic as a
No, for
hero.
sure.
And I think that's going to be the crux of where this story goes. Because he has to have his coming to God moment sooner than later.
hmm
And at this point, I think it's going to be coming in this film.
Yeah. I wonder what's going to be because, you know, in the moment you see Dr. Octopus and he's like, hello, Peter.
Mhm.
It's like, why does he know that Peter Parker is, like, that Spider-Man, that Peter is
Right.
Peter? You know, like, he never met him. I mean, the version of Peter Parker he knew was Tobey Maguire.
Right.
Unless, you know, he just has access to a TV and he just saw on the news clip, oh, blah, blah, blah. What's up?
Oh, I just want just because you said kind of what I was thinking as well.
Mhm.
Because I agree with James's theory. Oh, like from stuff I had read like months ago, a lot of people were saying like like the last thing that the villains remember is their death at the hands of Spider-Man, and that was all this all that was really driving them when they wake up in their new universe. So maybe like how James said, he comes in contact with the Sinister Six, and he maybe he strikes up a connection with Doc Ock. Like maybe they start talking, and he does meet him, and then maybe Doctor Strange imprisons them, and is like, we got to send them back. So maybe in that scene they had already met each other.
And maybe
You get what I'm saying?
yeah, no,
He
for
already
sure.
knew that he was
Yeah, they already
Peter.
had that introduction. Probably it's
Yeah.
a trailer, you know. That's
And
whenever I
it
watch
was a
trailers.
trick, like how James said. He's like, oh, I'm just a doctor. My name's Doctor Otto Octavius. Da da da. I'm from this time period, and I die. And then he comes out with the arms.
tentacles.
He's like,
Yeah, no,
yeah.
for sure.
And he's like, hello, Peter. Like you're an idiot. Like I can't
Yeah,
believe
right.
you
It's like
leave
I
us."
fooled you.
Yep. I
Fool.
got you again.
No, man, but I mean, for me, it's almost like kind of going back to that question you asked about Doctor Strange and, you know, is it really Doctor Strange? Is it Mephisto? All this. And I know we're going to touch on this a little bit more, but I know in a What If episode, we kind of got introduced to an alternate version of Doctor Strange. So I think that's an interesting concept. Maybe somehow that Doctor Strange is blending into our reality as well, and maybe he's the one kind of creating some chaos. Who knows? I don't know. Just throwing that out there. That's a
Well,
conversation for
I
later
heard a
for sure.
rumor for
Yeah.
Doctor Strange 2, like what the theory is behind the storyline, and I think that's kind of why they did that What If episode. It's preparing for what's coming.
Yeah. No, for
If
sure.
that is the storyline they go, which
Yeah.
it sounds pretty gnarly.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I just wanted to throw that in there because you mentioned, you know, what's going on with Doctor Strange. So, but I kind of agree with James a little bit. I feel like Strange is just kind of just doing his thing. He's chilling. He's like, hey, I'll give you a solid. And, you know, it backfires. Shit went down.
Quit tampering with the spell.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, what about Ned? You know, he's my best friend. It's like, dude, shut up.
Because
I'm
my
trying
thing,
to do your thing.
my thing is, if this Doctor Strange was a fake,
Mhm.
Mephisto, a nightmare, what have you, why would he care if the spell went south? It was gonna go south anyway.
Yeah.
You know,
No, you're right.
If the goal, and then my thing too is, why is Peter the catalyst? You know,
Mhm.
if if I'm a Fear Lord, Mephisto, Nightmare, whomever,
Mhm.
and I replace the Sorcerer Supreme, which if y'all don't know, that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, you can't really just do that.
Yeah, like you know what I'm saying. Like if Doctor Strange got replaced, the least of our problems is Doc Ock running rampant in New York City.
Oh, no, for sure.
You know
That's
what
a
I'm
good
saying?
point. Yeah.
That's my thing. It's like,
And it's like, why does he have to wait for Peter to do some spell like that? He could just do it on his own time.
Or,
You know, it's
like-
obviously just everybody
Yeah.
the theorizing and seeing the poster with the horns. And it's like, Mephisto, we didn't get him in WandaVision. You know, we want that shit.
everyone's just
Yeah.
dying for
It's
Mephisto.
it's a fun theory.
Yeah, it is
but,
fun.
Like, when I heard it and like when I read into it, I'm like, I see where people are coming from,
hmm
but it just feels like it's too much for this movie. Like we're
For sure.
already like
We got
opening
too
up the
much going on already.
multiverse. We can't be opening up the freaking like now we're bringing in fear lords into this. You know what I'm saying? Like that's
Exactly.
just we're going to the Amazing Spider-Man 2 route,
Mm-hmm.
where they try to do too much and it kind of backfired. And that's
Yeah.
the last thing that we want to happen with this, franchise.
Well,
I don't
speak.
think that they would ever have anything like that, but you never know. Like when something's too when you try to do too much in such a small time frame,
Mhm.
sometimes it reflects poorly. So I
No,
just
for
hope,
sure.
whatever they're doing, they're giving themselves enough time to really explain it and get things fleshed out.
No, without a doubt. I mean, and speaking about doing too much, I mean, everybody wants the Sinister Six. Well, when we watched this trailer, we got Doc Ock confirmed. We got a pumpkin bomb. So there's probably a Green Goblin in there. Hopefully Norman Osborn. I'm assuming it's definitely
Or
his
a
audio clip.
hobgoblin.
Or Hobgoblin. You never know. Maybe what if it's Ned from an alternate
That
timeline?
actor
That-
did get into really great shape
That's what I'm
prior to
saying,
this
dude.
movie.
Mhm.
So it could be a red herring, like using
Yeah.
Norman's voice with that pumpkin bomb. Like I'm sure Norman's there, but
But what if
maybe he
his
recruits
apprentice
Ned or something
is
like
Ned?
that to Oscorp. It's like,
That'd be
hey Ned, why don't
crazy.
you come work at Oscorp? And
So
then
regardless,
boom,
we got
pop.
Doc Ock. We definitely got a goblin
of some kind.
of some kind.
Yeah.
Some kind
Then
of goblin.
then we definitely have some electricity going. Electro, Jamie Foxx is confirmed, so I don't know
Mhm.
why
And
he's
then you
trying
can
to
see
hide
it
that.
in the sandstorm. There's definitely a fist.
Oh
You
yeah,
can
like
100%
it's
see a
moving,
fist.
on its own. So we
Yeah.
got it Sandman. And then that reflection you mentioned, you said maybe a scorpion. I'm kind of leaning towards a lizard because, just the shoehorn scorpion in there. At least lizard is like, has that backstory,
Yeah.
and it would
Yeah,
do the whole timeline
lizards
thing.
can do that.
Exactly. But that's 5. So who is the 6th Sinister Six? I almost said Simps. The Sinister Six. Like,
I mean,
who
we're not
could
in
it
there,
be? Like, I
unfortunately.
would love for Michael Keaton to return as
Vulture.
Vulture. When it comes to the other movies, I mean, who else do we got? I mean, you got Venom, but they're not gonna reintroduce Topher Grace's Venom. Please
Well,
no.
hold on.
But what if it's Mysterio? What if he just never died, actually? And it was the biggest illusion of them all. I like that concept
would be
because
cool.
Jake Gyllenhaal is my boy. But what do you guys think is going to be the 6th Sinister Sinks?
I mean,
and please don't say Mephisto.
it
I'll
would-
cry.
It would be a great way to introduce Kraven the Hunter.
Ooh,
Because
okay.
he's supposed to be getting a movie coming up, and what
Mhm.
better way than to give him a cameo where he doesn't die?
It's a Sony movie.
It is a Sony movie,
Mhm.
you know.
But
I
we
mean,
got a bunch
So
of
that's the
Sony characters in
that's
this
the only
movie.
thing. Because I want to say Vulture, but
Okay.
seeing him in Morbius
Yeah,
has me just like
they kind of locked him down.
what are they doing? Because we still haven't been introduced to Morbius, and if he's over in that universe now, is he still like MCU for this? You know what I'm saying? Like, is
Well-
he still present for Sinister Six stuff at the moment?
well,
Mhm.
by that statement is more of a reason why I think Kraven would be a great choice. Only because having Michael Keaton pop up in the Morbius trailer proves that they're in the same universe, right?
Yeah.
More or less.
But Quicksilver was Craven, so to just throw him back in there, I think fans would shit on it. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
I don't.
That actor was, Quicksilver, and we recently had WandaVision, just 6 months ago when we were like, oh my God, we might have him back.
Yeah, that's
So
true
he's
too.
still fresh in people's minds. So I think if you just threw him in a Craven role without an introduction, I think people would be like, whoa, what
It's
the
like, yeah,
fuck?
what's happening there?
Yeah,
I hear
acting,
you.
retcon
You get what I'm
acting.
saying?
No,
Like,
for
I would
sure.
be okay with it, but I could
Yeah.
see like casuals be like, "Whoa!" Like,
Like, I see what
we
you're
didn't even
saying
see
because it
anything
makes
about him.
sense for Vulture to be in the Morbius trailer, and it's like, okay, they're all kind of a shared universe. But at the same time, I see what you're saying, Paul, because it's like, oh, it's that actor who played Quicksilver, and now we're just throwing him as Kraven the Hunter. But then we have the whole variance conversation.
To kind of rewind to the WandaVision era of things. Evan Peters is his name,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
Paul?
Evan Peters,
the
Evan-
guy
and
who
then
came
Aaron
in
Taylor
WandaVision.
Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
Evan Peters was that guy.
Yeah,
Okay.
the Fox
So
Quicksilver.
So I understand where the outrage would come if, the previous Quicksilver actor came in as Kraven the Hunter. But you gotta look at the inverse. Like, I know for me, Evan Peters is a cool actor. He was a cool Quicksilver. I'm not too crazy about him. Like, that's what it is. When
How
I
dare
saw
you.
him, how dare I? When I saw him as Quicksilver, I was like, what? And then they even reference it in the show. It's like, oh, she recasted Quicksilver?
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, and the
Very
explanation,
meta.
Very meta, right? And the explanation for that was that Agatha Harkness kidnapped some random guy and essentially put
Yeah,
Quicksilver's
boner.
soul in his body, and they turned Quicksilver into a boner joke. So it's like at this point,
Sorry.
if they decide to bring Craven in
Mhm.
and make him a part of this film, even as a cameo
Yeah.
or like a one-off fight between Spider-Man, just to have him in the Sinister Six, I wouldn't be mad. Only because of what they did with WandaVision and Quicksilver. I honestly think that was a lot worse, or would be a lot worse than having, you know, him come back as Craven.
Yeah,
Honestly.
I hear what you're saying. Um,
Yeah, but like, just imagine that scene though. Like, if he's like it's a cameo, like he turns around, and I could just hear the theater being like, "Quicksilver."
yeah, it's like Quicksilver.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
and just
Without an
troll it.
intro movie, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would love for Craven to be the last member, but I feel like we need to see a Craven movie first before
Right.
bringing him over, because I just still think fans will always see him as Quicksilver, just
Yeah.
because fans are dickheads. You know what I'm
No,
saying?
for
No,
sure.
no,
Like,
for sure.
we could just suspend our belief and be like, okay, that's Craven. Fuck yeah, like we'd be
Yeah,
hype as
right.
fuck. But like I said, like I could see in the theater those trolls like, oh, it's Quicksilver.
Yeah.
Oh, like you know what I'm saying? And
The
like,
internet
it
could be very
a-
toxic.
yeah, you know.
The internet remains undefeated.
That would be
Always.
my only reason why it wouldn't be Craven yet.
Yeah.
But I would love for it to be Craven because he's one of my favorites of all time. Villains.
So my whole thing with the sixth member that we don't know yet, assuming that we got the other five confirmed, like we know that are in there, is that okay? Are we going to bring in somebody that's been in the previous movies? Are we going to bring somebody in that we already got introduced in these MCU Spider-Man movies? Or are we going to try to do something like
Brand
a big,
new.
brand new, a big reveal? You know, it's like so it's hard to think about. That's why I kind of like the idea where we mentioned Ned, an alternate version of Ned actually being the Hobgoblin, and that could kind of bring in that Peter Parker
Coming to God moment.
coming to God moment. He's like, whoa, my best friend is a villain, and I have to like send him back, and whatever it may be.
And he has to die in his world.
Exactly, or maybe he does
or he dies right there.
Yeah,
in front
he
of
just
him.
dies and he kills him or
And then
whatever.
he finds out he's Ned after the fact.
No, stop it! Oh, you'll make me cry.
But
Yeah,
that
Big
would be
twist.
the moment.
That would be the moment. Or and then that would be the sixth villain, so we could still have that Norman Osborn.
Yeah.
Being so we'll have two goblins in the Sinister Six.
I think Norman is 100% going to be there, but
He
I don't
has
think
to.
we get full. I don't think we get full Green Goblin mode. Because a lot of the stuff I've read is they want to keep it comic accurate this time, like how he looked like in Miles Morales, like how he had the actual Goblin appearance. Not to that extent,
Yeah.
but like they want him to look more like that visually.
It's like skin
So
Like
tight.
a monster.
Yeah.
yeah.
The
So
Hulkified
maybe
style
like
goblin.
we have Norman, like normal Norman, like CEO, still bad guy Norman, putting together the six, and then maybe like towards the end, he takes the formula and it transforms him, and it's like, okay, now like our six is set, like
Yeah,
officially.
yeah.
I can see them doing something like that, like like delaying a character so that way they don't have to use too many right now.
No, that's a good point.
Because
I see.
you don't want to burn through your villains. You know what I'm
Of
saying?
course.
We don't want to like just kill off the whole six right now. You know what I'm saying? Or,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, no, I definitely see the way they introduce Dr. Octopus in the trailer. He's going to be the main six that is going to be the problem. But Norman Osborn is going to be there, but I feel like he's going to be one of the six that gets away and
I
continues
think
in the
Norman's gonna be the
storylines.
main. I
Well,
think
he'll
Norman's
be the
the
main and
ringleader,
probably the
baby.
mastermind.
Well-
so you think he'll be like the final boss?
No.
No?
Only because in the comics,
Mhm.
Doc Ock is the one that makes the Sinister Six.
Okay.
He's the brains
For
behind it.
sure.
And the way the comics play out with the story, which funny enough, the Sinister Six story was a one-off.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, it was like an annual for the Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah, it was just a one-time story.
Mhm.
And
But it was too good.
it was so good that it set the groundwork for everyone to say, you know what, we need more stories where the villains team up.
And let's do a Sinister 7 and a Sinister 8. And they kept adding fucking
They just
people.
kept swapping out characters,
Yeah, for sure.
But they were never as good as the original story.
Mhm.
It's like the original story when Doc Ock is like, hey, we all have this hate for this guy, so the
we
problem
could never beat him.
boom, so we need to work together.
Yeah.
So he rallied as many villains as he could, and the only ones that decided to work with him were the initial initial five: Electro, Craven, Sandman,
Mysterio
and
and Vulture.
And Vulture, yes.
And Doc Ock.
Well, yeah, But Doc Ock was the
Yeah,
he
that's
sent
the OGs.
yeah he sent the invite and only 5 VSP are VSP. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And he was the main.
He really wanted more.
He
but
wanted more,
that's
but
all he
everyone
got.
else was like, "Yeah, we don't want to work with you. We don't care.
Yeah, right.
Well, I will kill Spider-Man on my own."
So okay, so what about, is this a possibility then for another member? After seeing the Hawkeye trailer, do y'all think Kingpin is on the way? Do you think he could be someone that could be involved in stuff like that?
I hope not.
Really?
I don't.
No?
I like Kingpin,
I like it. I like the idea.
but Kingpin.
No, I'm asking. I'm just asking questions. I hope y'all.
Yeah,
you're good.
No, for sure, for sure. I like it,
It's,
though.
you know,
But Kingpin's one of those
Raise-
characters
raise
that
the-
he thrives better alone.
hmm
And I don't mean that in the sense of, oh God, Cassie, energy drink, come back up on me. Well, like I mean that in the sense of
Sponsored by
Kingpin.
Bang.
Yeah, sponsored by Bang Rain Monster Energy Drink. But yeah, Kingpin's he's a mob boss. He's the crime lord.
Yeah.
He doesn't work with people; he orders people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where the disconnect is when it comes to teamwork. The Sinister Six, they work with each other out of mutual shared hate, disgust, death. In this case, it's going to be death.
Mhm.
We're all going to die if we don't do something.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be the driving point for them to work together. When it comes to Kingpin, it's like, okay, I have X amount of money. I have X amount of influence. You work with me, you get paid. You work with me, I don't kill your family.
Yeah.
He's the
No, for
mob.
sure.
He's a mob boss.
And I feel like he fits really well in that Hawkeye world. That at least from what we saw
Exactly.
in that trailer, it seems very underground,
Yeah, as a crime
underworld.
lord.
Yeah, a little James Bond action in that fucking trailer, which we'll
Exactly.
touch on later. But I also always liked, because you mentioned like he orders people around, so essentially he's like the leader.
Right.
He's the gang lord, if you will. The
Mafioso.
the mafioso,
The Godfather.
the Godfather.
Don Vito Corleone.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Forget about it. No, I'm just kidding. But I love that in the old animated series, he had Hobgoblin as like his mercenary.
Yeah.
In the 90s. Like he never did the work. I mean, he fought Spider-Man once in a while, but like he
fights
always
when-
sent motherfuckers out there.
He fights when he has to.
Yeah, exactly.
Which means him having to fight is Daredevil and Spider-Man in his office.
Raise the thought.
Yeah,
Raise
what's the thought?
So what if it's okay, instead of him being a part of the Sinister Six,
What if?
What if it's a cameo appearance
Ah.
and it's him recruiting Ned?
Ooh. Oh man.
Like what if that's like an end credit scene?
That's too
like
much.
you see Ned walk into like like a gangster place.
I feel like
and
if
then,
Marvel
That's-
attempts it, I'll love it.
That's us hitting. That's us hitting too much territory.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah,
that's,
only
that's
because
mid credit scene. There's gonna be a mid credit scene and an end credit scene.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's too much.
Do you think that's
That's too much. We're hitting too much territory at that point. That's a whole other story.
But technically, Kingpin will be in the MCU by that time, because Hawkeye comes out in November and
Yeah.
Spider-Man comes out in
And-
December.
and
So
the
if they
big-
do
the big
something
theory-
like that,
the big theory is that Kingpin is supposed to make a cameo appearance. Could be bullshit,
yeah,
but with
I think
also
it's
the
happening.
Matt Murdock and the Spider-Man, rumors, and She-Hulk, it
Mhm.
kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Like that they start slowly introducing them, but could also be bullshit.
It could be bullshit. It's the internet. The
too
internet
much.
runs
For
wild,
sure. You take everything with a grain of salt,
for sure.
and then
Right.
you try to put the pieces together. Like, does it make sense? For sure, it makes sense. Did it also make sense in WandaVision for Mephisto to be involved? It did. He wasn't. So,
Yeah, we got a
there's lot
boner
of things
joke.
because, yeah,
Did that make sense?
just because it makes sense, doesn't mean we're gonna get it, or
Without a
shit
doubt.
like that. But they're interesting.
All right, so I feel like we crossed out Kraven the Hunter slightly. Kingpin, we kind of crossed out. Let's just say Vulture is not going to be in it. He's going to be in Morbius. Well, then how about, I'm sticking on the Sinister Six thing. We can move on soon, but what about Mysterio coming back, man? Because Mysterio is kind of the hidden villain in this trailer the whole time, because he's the one who exposed Peter
I
to the
think-
world. So it's like to have him
I
just
don't
come
see
back.
it.
You don't like it?
I think he's dead.
Ah,
So
I
the
think he's
only
dead.
no, my boy Gyllenhaal.
Well, because how would my thing is just how would he not be? You know what I'm saying? He doesn't have powers or anything like that, and we saw
Well,
him like
he doesn't have the
die
technology
unless he's brought back to life.
Well, that's
when
what I'm
the
saying. All
spell
these
happened.
villains are getting brought back to life. So it's like, why can't he be
Well-
one of them?
well,
And then on top
you
of
know
that,
what?
what if
Hold on.
You know what?
and what
Maybe.
instead of Yeah, you liking this? You liking what I'm spitting?
Now that I think about it, I was like, because I was just kind of leaving it to like characters coming back to life from other movies.
Mhm.
I'm limiting it to it. I'm limiting it because, like I said, Mysterio passed away. Why
Yeah.
couldn't he come back as well?
Exactly.
In this
And
situation?
who says that he has to come back as the the Mysterio that has the technology? What if what if
He came back as the actual magical.
yeah, what if he
Mysterio.
comes back with some magic? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And he has some power. I don't know. It's just a thought. It's just fun
So,
theorizing.
Let's say Mysterio.
Let's get
Let's
deep.
say Mysterio is the
Balls deep.
6th member, right? Like, let's say, right? Let's say it's Jake Gyllenhaal. Actually, let's not even say it's Jake Gyllenhaal. Let's say it's someone else.
Okay.
Right? Let's say it's a variant.
It variant. Yeah, sure. Yeah, we're going really
We're going-
off the
who
rails.
else
What if
go-
it's
that was-
Tom
that'd be
Hardy's
It's
hilarious.
Tom Hardy's ass. All right. So anyway, let's say
I'm sorry.
let's say okay. So the concept, the going rumor here, bunch of Muppets. The going rumor here is that all these villains get pulled like right before they died,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So I would find it really hard for Peter to sympathize with these guys that he doesn't even know right off the bat. Oh, we're gonna die if we go back to our worlds. I mean, are you really? If the 6th person is Mysterio, that would be more of a nail in the coffin to kind of drive that empathy.
Mm.
So let's say like the 6th one is Jake Gyllenhaal,
Mm.
and he's telling the other guys, hey, if I go back, I'm gonna die. And they're like, wait, if we go back, we're gonna die. And Peter sees Jake Gyllenhaal's Mysterio, and he knows that if he gets sent back to his spot, he will die.
Yeah.
And he feels really guilty about that. So that'd be a driving force to keep him going. Let's say Peter breaks the box, they get out, and instead of Jake Gyllenhaal's Mysterio having magical powers, he breaks out in the Sanctum, where Doctor Strange has a myriad of magical items just lying around,
Mm.
and he gets magically upgraded. So then at this point, we have a actual magical Mysterio that's running around with stolen Sorcerer Supreme goods. So
Getting me all excited.
when
and
you
hyped
run
over
that theory, that makes a little more sense. Because then you have one motive for Peter to set them free, because he has an actual attachment there. And then 2, Mysterio's power up, less technology, more actual magic, which would make him more of a threat, because it's not illusions at that point. He's actually throwing copies of himself. He's throwing magical beams of energy. You know what I'm saying? And that would be a good, solid last villain for the Sinister Six. Someone that actually has like magic to use against Doctor Strange, magic
Mhm.
to use against the universe at that point. And it's like, okay, this isn't going to get fixed until 1, they all get sent back, and 2, we take the power away from him.
Yeah, exactly.
So if they go down with Mysterio, that'd probably be the way to spin it, in my mind.
You heard it here first. I'm calling it.
I just
It's
don't.
happening.
I just don't want to see Mysterio again. I liked
You
him,
don't? Oh,
but
man.
here's
I hear you. I understand.
my problem with it, and this goes back to killing villains,
Mhm.
is when you kill a character and then you bring them back, it takes away from what happened before.
No, for sure. I agree. Yeah.
So it's like, okay,
Okay.
cool. If we get Mysterio back after the last
So
film,
soon too. So
So
soon.
soon.
Yeah, yeah. It's not like Willem Dafoe or Alfred Molina. Like they've been
That
dead
was
for
years
10
ago in a
years
whole other
now,
Spider-Man
or
story.
20 years almost, at least with Willem Dafoe. You
yeah,
know?
and
So
it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like that's
good.
cool. We want to see that because we haven't seen them in so long.
exactly. Yeah.
Mysterio died X amount of time ago already. That's fresh in our minds.
No, yeah.
It's like
It's
whatever.
like bringing Tony Stark back.
I
already.
would
It's
be
like,
so
nah,
mad.
yeah, it's like what just happened.
even
Like, come
even
on.
in the capacity of like an artificial intelligence Tony Stark,
Mhm.
I would not like
no,
it.
yeah, we can't.
I don't want it.
accept that. Yeah,
No,
we don't
because
want it.
it devalues the death
Exactly.
like
and the
with-
sacrifice
and the sacrifice. Like with the Thanos,
and the moment in general. I mean, shit.
Yeah.
You know?
like with the Thanos thing with the whole snap, we knew they were gonna come back.
Mhm.
We just didn't know how.
Exactly.
And like we had the anxiety going up to the whole end of the film, like, oh god, they gotta get the stone, they gotta do this and that. But we know it's gonna happen. We just don't know when or how.
Yeah, how? Yeah, exactly.
With Mysterio being dead, even in Shang-Chi, Wenwu being dead, am I upset they died? Yeah, because that's a wasted character.
For sure.
But now it's like I'm emotionally committed to them being dead.
Mhm.
I don't want them back
Exactly.
because it's like cool if you bring back Wenwu via time travel, or bring back Mysterio via magic. You know what I'm saying? Like it takes away from the emotional scene from when they died.
Mhm.
Because Peter was like in shock, like, is he really dead?
Exactly.
And he's like, yes, he has no signs of life. This isn't, is this real? Is what he asked the machine. And she
Mhm.
said, yes, it is. He's dead. That was an emotional scene.
Yeah.
You know, he was shook by death, the whole fight, and all that. Cool. You bring him back for a bullshit reason, takes that away.
For sure. For sure.
So that's why I don't want, like, if he comes back as the sixth member, cool. Do I want him back? Not really.
Yeah.
Then
Well,
what if
And what if?
Yeah,
what if we
we'll get
get
there.
Scorpion and Lizard as the final two members of the Six? So it'd be Doc Ock, Green Goblin, Electro, Sandman, Lizard, and Scorpion. Because J. Jonah Jameson is in this universe. He is the one
Okay.
that funds the program that creates Scorpion. We did kind of get a tease for him at the end of Spider-Man: Homecoming, that
Yep.
interaction between Vulture and him. So what if? And there is like I don't know if you guys saw like the release of the toys, the Spider-Man toys, but there was one toy with like a Lego Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, a Lego Doctor Strange, and there was like a scorpion creature as well. It didn't look like
Ah.
scorpion exactly, but it was like a creature. So what if they like just did like a little like generic looking creature, and then in the movie we do get scorpion? Like
Oh wow.
just a theory, just because we are getting Jameson.
Yeah. No,
You know,
I like that. I like that concept. I feel like, like you said earlier, there's so much going on in this movie. To try to shoehorn a Scorpion origin story would be tough, but J. Jonah Jameson is all in about Peter Parker's a menace. Like we finally getting like that back, and I'm so happy for it.
Yes.
So to it could just be like
well,
15 minutes of a scene,
fast
and we
track
got it.
Yeah, exactly. Like you could fast track it. Like
Yeah.
Jameson, like we're working on the technology to capture Spider-Man. I was like, I have my volunteer, and you
Mhm.
can do like a quick like video scene, and then it goes wrong or some shit.
Yeah,
and
fuck yeah.
Like
Yeah,
every
he
great
tracks out.
villain
You-
origin story.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
you can make that shit work. You know,
Yeah, you can make that shit work.
Scorpion's not who we're there for. You know,
Yeah,
we're
for sure,
there for the
exactly.
others. He's still
Yeah.
awesome to have that because I mean, look what they did to Shocker. It's not
Mhm.
like they gave him the most respect.
No,
So I
not
can
at
see
all.
them just kind of like throwing characters in there, so we have them there, but they're not the focus. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
It's like,
They
oh, we have a
build up the
Sinister Six.
Six,
Here's the members,
but we
but
want to focus on Doc Ock. We want to
Mhm.
focus on Green Goblin, Electro, Sandman, and probably Lizard. But Scorpion
Yeah.
is someone that is there, is dangerous, but we don't have to put too much into him. If that makes sense.
I
You know what I'm
feel like
saying?
I feel like the Lizard is going to be that first villain that Spider-Man's gonna get encounter, and Doctor Strange is gonna scoop up, and that's how we get introduced to the box and shit in the
I
prison.
can see that.
You know what I mean? It's like because do people even remember the Lizard? Do people even remember the Amazing Spider-Man franchise? I don't even know. But
I
the
agree.
majority,
And
the
if you
majority of
and
people that
if
saw
if you
it,
even know the Lizard from comics, like for
Mhm.
him to be the first villain to come back, especially like the Amazing Spider-Man version, because that version did look scary. Like he was
Oh yeah,
big, he was terrifying. That
slimy,
would be pretty gnarly. Like for him to be the first one to come
right?
out.
It would be like a scary moment. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
Peter would be like,
Holy
oh,
shit.
what the
in
hell
shock.
is this thing?
Yeah, exactly. And then
Yeah.
that could just explain everything through Doctor Strange's dialogue. Oh, these villains are coming from different dimensions because we fucked up. Now,
Basically,
this is our responsibility. Go get
we
the
have to
other
send them
ones.
home.
Yeah, like go get the other ones while I'll try to find. We'll split. It's something like that. I think that would be
And
fun.
then in their shock from being thrown into a new world, he captures them, and in the process of capturing them, they tell him, "Yo, we will die if you send us home."
Yeah, exactly.
You
Then
know?
we could have all that.
shit.
Yeah,
Oh shit. It's making sense.
we're figuring it all out. One
No,
fucking
that would
trailer,
be
we're figuring it
no,
all out.
that would be cool though. Like the way you guys just explained the story. So pretty much beginning, Peter goes to Strange,
hmm
change time, shit gets fucked up, villains are released, you split up, get this group, I split up, get this group, Strange gets his three guys, Peter goes for his three, captures two, Doc Ock's the last one, and he convinces them like, "Hey man, we're gonna die. You got to release us. Like you don't want to be this kind of person again. You already killed Mysterio. Like you don't want to do this to us." Him and Strange fight. All six are released.
Oh, big
Game
battle.
over.
Now, the one thing we're not talking about is what about Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield? Now we're going back into the territory like of too
We're-
much shit going down.
We're into breaking
I,
news
I don't want
territory.
to.
Yeah.
I don't want to think about them.
Okay.
Honestly, truly, sincerely. So I would love for them to be in the movie, and I'm sure they are.
hmm
But I don't want to think about it because it makes me like
Get-
worried because I feel like it's too much.
I hear you.
Like
I
it's
hear
just-
you.
It's
Because
feels
it's like
it's going to
it's-
be convoluted.
Well, and it's like if we add those characters in, then we want the Mary Jane, then we want the Gwen Stacy, we want all this other shit to pop
We want a
up.
Spider-Verse.
Yeah, we want a
I mean,
Spider Verse
if you
essentially.
if you show me Toby and Andrew, like even in a cameo appearance, I'll be set. I'll be
Yeah,
like,
for
oh
sure.
my god,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
No, right? Like at the end, it's like, oh, we're retrieving our villains, or some stupid shit like that. It's like, ooh, yeah.
Oh my
And-
gosh, that'd be hilarious.
I want to.
Yeah.
I want
We take
to. I
out
want a
these
broken.
guys.
Give us our boxes.
You know-
of our villains.
You know what I think? Like everyone's been saying that if they do make cameos, that Tobey Maguire is going to be the broken Spider-Man,
Mhm.
Andrew Garfield's going to be the in between, and Tom Holland's going to be the bright optimist.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be swapped between Andrew and Tobey. I think Andrew's going to be the broken Spider-Man.
he went
And-
through more shit.
He went through more shit,
Yeah,
and like the
Oh,
last,
yeah.
yeah.
and even in the deleted scene for the last movie he was in, which that should have been in the theatrical release, where his dad shows up and he's at Gwen Stacy's grave.
Oh yeah.
And they have that emotional conversation. That was A1 Andrew Garfield acting.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
They
I am-
just took it out.
I am so mad that they took it out. But it's like, I think if they do bring him in, or if they're in there at all, he's gonna be the broken Spider-Man. The Spider-Man is like, hey, I was the hero, I did this and that, and it's like,
It didn't work out.
didn't work out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Even though he did have that one scene at the end where he fought Rhino, where it's like the kid stood up and he's like, "Yo, thanks for backing me up" or something like that.
That was such a good scene. Oh my
It
gosh.
was like the kid
That
went
was
out in
like one of the
Spider-Man
most
suit.
Spider-Man scenes of all time. Like it's
For
him
real.
walking out, like he's like, "Hey, Spider-Man." That he's like, "Thanks for holding it down while I was gone." Like,
Yeah.
just such a good scene.
Yeah, it is a good. It's a
I
wholesome
love it.
moment.
Andrew Garfield does not get enough credit. I'm
He
saying.
really doesn't. With that being
No.
said, I feel like with the introduction
So
to the
at-
other Spider-Mans, Multiverse of
Just to
Madness
talk
would
about
be a better
Garfield
spot.
real quick. So, like, have you guys seen how he's been getting kind of berated in interviews for the
Yes.
leaked footage of
Mhm.
him, and he's like, "No, it's Photoshop. It's
See,
Photoshop."
the
Yeah.
latest one, someone leaked like a whole trailer or a whole like video, 4K video of him in the Spider-Man suit talking to someone, and like a producer or something for a scene, and he immediately went on the internet or went on an interview trying to say that it was a deep fake.
So much
Yeah.
you could say that nowadays. I
You
feel.
could say that, but yeah, now like the internet's torn in half. Some people saying, "Oh, it is a deep fake," and then everyone who is like, "Oh yeah, I work in VFX and all that stuff, and it's not a deep fake. You need these things, blah 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 blah." So you have people trying to disapprove the people disapproving it.
yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm just like, this is a mess. But like the second I saw it, I'm
Mhm.
like, because like this trailed into what was it the page that I saw it on was talking about it, and then they immediately segued into the Let There Be Carnage secret credit scene
Mm-hmm.
that Tom Hardy tried telling people not to talk about,
Oh god.
and I'm just like, throw the phone across the room. I don't want to see this.
Yeah.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
so that was connected to that end scene.
I don't know, but
Like,
the
that's what people were
conversation.
saying?
Yeah, so they're trying to say
Like,
that. They're
if
trying to
so, that makes sense to what I read.
Ooh, ah!
I don't want to talk about it.
All I
don't-
gotta say is I'm happy that it's coming out October 1st. That's it.
That's it.
That's
Or
it.
I don't want
Oh,
to
yeah,
talk about it.
you
All I
guys
want to
have-
see.
You guys have your tickets yet?
No,
No.
not yet. I'm just gonna
I don't even know if.
bide the day.
Yeah.
That's how I normally
It's
do.
Friday.
Well,
'Cause
Thursday
like,
night.
well, yeah, Thursday nights, but I'm going to see it Friday morning, like when
Oh,
it actually
okay.
comes out. Because I'm only off in the mornings, so I
Right.
can't see the premiere night.
Gotcha,
so
gotcha.
I wanted to see if we were all at least seeing it on the same day, so we could talk about it.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
I'll
no, for sure,
we're
for
definitely gonna
sure.
see it within the same 24-hour time span.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
without a
saying?
doubt.
Okay,
I'm excited.
okay,
And I still
cool.
have not seen the trailer for that movie. I don't know why.
How?
I don't know. It just decided-
Why?
It just
I think it's close enough to where you can.
yeah, exactly.
You're not, and they don't like show anything that would really.
I don't know.
There's only. Honestly think there's
It's
only
very
one thing.
teaser. It's very teaser.
It's very
Yeah,
teaser.
I
Okay.
think there's only one thing in the trailer that if you saw it,
Mhm.
your mind would automatically start going off on
Oh,
a
really?
tangent.
Ah, see.
But it's really not that. Like it's fairly obvious.
Yeah.
What it is.
okay.
And
Well-
Paul, it's with Scream. I think that's her name. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
so it's like.
You fucker. How dare you? I'm just kidding.
Which
it's
I mean,
fine.
if anyone knows anything about symbiotes, it's kind of obvious what her role will
no,
be.
of course. I mean, dude, we had She-Venom or whatever you want to call her in the first movie, and then
And that was a given.
and
as
they're
well.
also heavily hinting at
Toxin,
toxic. They were toxic or
Toxin.
toxin. Yeah.
which is
Toxin.
the
Yeah,
grandson.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
if you will.
he's supposed to be the cop
Mhm.
and they show in the trailer.
Exactly. So I mean,
Yeah,
I
that's
kind of
what they
know
were
something.
saying.
So to introduce Scream, especially with Carnage already being in the movie, ooh, I'd like that. That'd be fine. Just to hint it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if we should keep talking about No Way Home. I don't know how we're doing on time, but there's a couple
Oh
other.
yeah,
There's also a couple other things I really want to focus on. Do we want to stay on
the
the
major.
trailers route, or do we want to
Let's-
weed into somewhere else? Because there's another really good trailer that just came out recently.
Let's press on to other territories. Which Paul, you said you had like some breaking news stuff you want to touch on first.
Oh,
It was just the Tom Hardy stuff with the leak
Oh, okay.
and
okay.
Okay, so I guess
how he asked the fans not to discuss it, and the fans just
Just
completely
saying fuck you.
Completely
disregarded
disregarded
stuff
it.
like that. Yeah, so that was all just kind of how it was a fucked up situation.
Yeah.
All right, so Keith, I guess you
But
have the lead here on
what's-
the final topic of conversation.
Yes,
The
Keith,
final topic?
please.
Oh
Yeah,
no.
please bring it up. Please
Bring it
bring
up.
it up.
What
But what you about to say with the trailer?
about the Matrix
Yes.
Resurrection?
Yes, that's what
Let's
we're
talk
talking
about it.
about,
Let's
bro.
talk about it. I would love to talk about What If, but this is a hotter topic right now, dude.
Facts.
And we are all Matrix nerds.
Yes.
We have talked about the Matrix many times in our past podcast. We've been waiting for anything, a sequel or anything, for years since the last film came out. What, like how many years ago? I don't even know at this point.
I think it was 05, 04,
05?
05.
Oh yeah. So it's been a minute.
Long enough to make me feel old.
Yeah, for sure. But this trailer finally came out, and it was no teaser, man. That was a beefy trailer. There was a lot going on in
That
that
trailer was thick.
It was thick with
03.
3 C's. Huh? 03?
2003.
God.
Woo, damn, I feel old. All right. Yeah, I was like in middle school. Sorry, showing my
Yeah, me
age.
too.
Jesus.
But man, that trailer, I love. Just in the first moments of that trailer, they were hitting on so many. Just like you saw the deja vu cat
Yes.
right off the. You hear the sound of them like getting plugged in
Mhm.
right off the bat. You see so much blue pills, which I don't know why, but that just satisfied
All
the hell
blue
out of me.
pills.
And of course, you see Keanu Reeves being called Thomas
Mhm.
by his therapist, who is Neil Patrick Harris.
Mhm.
And just I don't know, what a trailer. I could go off about it, but what did you guys think about the trailer before we start really dissecting it?
I thought it was really good. I thought it was subtle, very subtle, in
Mhm.
the sense of, okay, cool. We know Neo's here. We have Trinity. He's being essentially drugged to maintain whatever life he has. And he sees in the mirror he's an older gentleman. So it's like, okay, cool. We have some semblance of what's going on.
Okay.
Mystery. These clearly there's still some kind of chaos going on. They show the machines,
Yes.
so we know that's still a prevalent thing.
Mhm.
So we have setting, story, mystery, and then I'm sure the biggest question that everyone is wondering is how the hell is Neo still alive?
Exactly.
And that's where the trailer doesn't really touch on. We just have a lot of action, fight scenes, the pills, all that stuff.
Mhm.
You're still in the Matrix, and like the last
Yeah.
part of the trailer was got another therapist,
Or maybe his boss or something.
and he's like, "Wow, how does it feel to still be in the Matrix?"
Yeah. It's like, oh, okay.
And we're just boom throwing it out there. So we have a lot of different points to hit on with it, but
Yeah.
I love how we're just being direct. Okay, we know we're in the Matrix. We know this is going on. So it's like it was a very direct trailer, but still very mysterious with the story as to what is going on.
Yeah, for
Very
sure.
ambiguous.
Yeah, definitely. What about you, Paul? How did you feel about this trailer?
Dude, I was so hyped. Like before even seeing that trailer, just going onto the website and seeing
Oof.
like the little teasers, and like every time you would go on to it, it would give you different clips and stuff like that.
And the
Like
time
I
you were
logged in,
watching it.
I logged in like 5 times. Yeah, that was awesome. Just to like see all I could. But man, it was awesome. Seeing the new Morpheus was pretty cool. Because I don't know if y'all were familiar with the Matrix Online game. Did y'all?
Not really.
Y'all familiar?
I wanted to
Well,
play it,
that
but
was
my computer at the time was trash. So.
Well, that was supposed to be canon, like for the lore of the Matrix, and Morpheus does die in the game. So maybe that's why there's a different actor playing him. Maybe they'll get into like he's a variant of Morpheus or some shit like that.
Goddamn
But
variants.
I kind of like because when I saw him, I was like, huh, I was like that's interesting because I was into the video game pretty hardcore. So it's cool to see, Morpheus still exists. I just love the tone of the trailer, like the song that they're playing. It's like,
Oh,
until makes you like, and it's
yes,
just
that
like
Oh
Jefferson
yes,
Airplane doing that
very
Alice in
Alice.
Wonderland.
dystopian. Yeah, like it was so dystopian, and you're just like, and you
And
see
they
the White
blended with
Rabbit.
like the score too of the film
Dun,
to
Yeah.
just like
dun, dun,
yeah,
dun,
yeah, to
dun,
amplify
dun, dun.
the
and then
seriousness.
seeing the little girl. I don't know if this is the same girl, but like you remember the girl from the train station?
Yeah.
Yes.
It looked like a grown-up version of her
Oh, the
in the
one with the
trailer.
Alice in Wonderland book? Is
And
that
the
who you're talking about?
glasses,
Yeah, yeah.
the girl with the glass. Yes, yes.
At like the
And she's
cafe or
giving it
whatever,
to
I'm assuming.
Neo.
Yes, yeah,
Yes.
that probably is her, man. Like a grown up version. Maybe she's the new Oracle, you know?
Oh,
Oh, that would be
didn't
awesome.
think about that.
No, seriously, bro,
That
I
would be
watched this trailer way
awesome.
too many times. Like I feel like they are definitely going for a soft reboot, right? Like this movie definitely has like a reintroduction to who Neo is, who you know what's going on in the Matrix. What?
You heard it here, folks. For a second time, Keith broke his no trailer rule.
Oh yes, yeah. Oh, I definitely watched the trailer way too
Muppet.
many fucking
And then,
times.
did you notice in the trailer there's a scene where they're like running through like a screen that's being split in half, and it's someone watching the original.
Yes, the
original
original
movie
film when he
where-
gets sucked in.
Yeah,
So it kind of makes me
where he's
think.
getting sucked in.
Yeah, dude, it almost makes me think like in this world, you mentioned that Neo or whatever, Thomas Anderson, was looking at himself in the mirror and he sees himself as an old man. So, and I thought that was just a hallucination moment, whatever. But if he's actually in this world, not looking the way he does, what if the Matrix is like a form of media? Like there's movies and games. What if in the Matrix and all that time in the past actually happened like on TV, like you're talking about, Paul. Like they have a
So-
movie playing. That would be an interesting concept. I noticed that too, and I was like, wait a minute, are they going that
So,
route?
There was a theory
Okay.
back in the day about the story of the Matrix, right? How it works as a whole, and to it's like it was like the most mind-boggling theory when I first read it, and the theory was because everyone tried to make sense of the ending of Matrix, because to some folks it wasn't really satisfying.
Yeah,
Okay,
left
cool.
it open.
Yeah, very open. It was like, cool, we went through all this, the war's over, and
Yeah.
we're still living underground. Like,
No, of course.
so
Like people have the choice to stay in the Matrix or to live underground. Like,
yeah, like cool. Like that's not really a satisfying ending for some
Mhm.
folks. So the theory that I saw, this was years ago, was that the entire world, from the Matrix to the world they're living in Zion, all that is part of the Matrix.
Ooh,
So, and here was the
fucking with our heads.
yeah, here was the evidence that kind of played into the key points in the last movie, was when Trinity is taking Neo to the robot city, right?
Mhm.
And there's a scene where he's blind and he sees everything, and it still looks in binary,
Exactly.
and
yeah.
he's controlling the machines, blowing them up, and all that stuff. And
How's he doing that in the real world?
Exactly.
Unless it is another layer of the Matrix.
right,
I
and
see what
that
you're
was
saying.
the theory, was that in the Animatrix film where they described the story as to how the war happened, when the machines won, and they took humans and started experimenting on them and started tempering with their emotions and stuff, see how humans ticked, why they were the way they were. One of the theories was that when they first put humans into the Matrix to keep them complacent, they put them in a utopia. The world was perfect, right?
Mhm.
No war, no strife, nothing. The humans they plugged into that version of the Matrix died automatically.
Yeah.
Because the human mind cannot comprehend
A
perfect.
utopia.
Right. The human mind needs conflict. You
Mhm.
need a balance. So what the machines did was they made a layered Matrix. So you have the real world,
Mhm.
where the machines won and they have the people locked up. Then you have the Zion world, where they fight the machines. They're on the farm. They use
Ah,
batteries.
Okay.
And then you have the Matrix. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then you have another lower layer of the Matrix where the whole system really is.
Mhm.
And essentially, they keep repeating this war to keep humans, surviving and locked into their fantasy. And another piece of information that kind of played into this was when in the second movie, Neo saw the architect, and the architect told Neo, and he showed him all the TVs and stuff. You've been here before.
Yeah.
The last one was here. He did the same thing. He went back and reset everything. They let their loved ones die. And what they did was, when you go back to restart everything, you pick the next Morpheus, you pick the next Trinity, and all this starts all over again. You get plugged back into the Matrix, and this whole war resets. The
Okay.
Matrix resets.
Yeah. Because they were on their like 6th incarnation, I think, of the Matrix when he was talking to the architect.
Well, the thing is, with all the TVs in the room,
Mhm.
there was thousands upon thousands of TVs, and each one
Yeah.
had a different reaction
Mhm. Yeah,
of
you're
Neo
right.
of when the architect told him
Mhm.
this. So the implication here is that it was more than just 6.
Okay.
They've been doing this for a long time. The world ends,
Interesting.
it resets, keeps going. And the only change here in this world was when Neo killed Smith.
Mm.
And this theory also played into the fact that Neo isn't the one. Smith is.
Yeah, I've heard that theory a lot.
And when he jumped into Smith's body, destroyed his binary code, he reprogrammed Smith. Smith tells him this. He's like, "You unplugged me. You set me free."
Yeah.
So when the Matrix
good.
talks to Neo, he tells him when all is supposed to end, Smith is supposed to return home.
Mhm.
Smith returns home. Smith is the program that resets the Matrix. Hence why Neo's fighting him and all the clones and stuff. And by the end of it, he lets Smith win.
Mhm.
He's plugged into the main hub of the Matrix. He lets Smith take him over, and then he's like, "You won," But when he does that, Smith unknowingly,
Restarts the Matrix.
because he goes back home where he was
Yeah.
supposed to go,
Mhm.
and then everything resets.
Yeah.
So what I think is, I don't think it's a soft reset. I think the machines just took Neo. They gave him his request of peace,
Mhm.
and then they just plugged him back into a normal life.
Yeah.
Because remember, in the first film, the guy that betrays them,
Yeah.
he's
I don't-
talking to Smith.
Cypher or something like
Yeah,
that.
Cypher. He's talking to
Cypher.
Smith,
Mhm.
and Smith tells him, "There's a way we can plug you back into the Matrix and just give you a regular life again,
Yeah.
and you won't even have to remember. This will be a fever dream to you."
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So I imagine that Neo didn't really die. His mind was just crashed, whatever, and they took him. The robots took him, whatever, as the allegory Jesus figure, because he's like on the
Yeah.
machine taken away, and they just plug him back into the Matrix.
Yeah.
And call it a day. He lives out a regular life. He's on blue pills. He can't come back. And I'm sure the way they're gonna tailor this story is somebody broke the peace. It's either gonna be a program, a human, or a machine. Somebody here did something to make Neo come back.
Well, I think what it is, because if you're saying Thomas Anderson, Neo is in the Matrix, he's plugged in, he's just living his normal life. They're feeding him blue pills to keep him subdued. Well, Trinity is in that world too.
Mm-hmm.
She must be plugged in, and she doesn't remember who she was. They
Mhm.
have that handshake, and they're like, "Have we met before?"
Right.
And maybe that starts with them together, creates that whatever you want to the anomaly of breaking out of the Matrix again.
Mhm.
Because he can't do it on his own, obviously. Because he would have done it already.
Right.
But having Trinity there, we've seen some crazy moments in that trailer with Trinity alone,
Mm-hmm.
where she was, phasing in the 4 different people.
Yep.
You saw her fighting and, kind of getting back into that, Matrix fighting style, whatever you want to call it. And there was a moment where, in I believe the second film, Neo went into her and
Pulled
saved
out a
her,
bullet.
pulled out a bullet, but also their binary code fused, meshed together. So what if she is also the one? Like they create that anomaly.
What are words?
Yeah, right. And they.
You're like Nemo saying anemone.
Yeah,
Anemone.
But what if they create that to break out of the Matrix? So in reality, that would be the thing. And we have to remember that a lot of these programs, if you will, like Neil Patrick Harris, he must be a program trying to subdue Thomas Anderson to escape the Matrix, because the machines, in reality, they probably want to keep everything how it is.
Right.
So, and they want to keep those two separated.
Mm-hmm.
And that cafe that they met at must
broke that. Mm-hmm.
So I'm really excited to see what's gonna happen. And obviously, we have a new Morpheus that you mentioned, Paul. And you said that in continuity that he actually died. So is this Morpheus part of the program? Is he somebody else from Zion? Is his conscience
reset?
And was he you know, who knows what's going on in this movie? But
Well, again, like when the machines reset everything, they pick new people to take the spots.
yeah,
A new
exactly.
Morpheus, a new
A new
Trinity,
Oracle.
a new everything.
Yeah.
So, if anything, his character could be the character that kind of explains, hey, I'm Morpheus 2.0, 3.0, whatever.
hmm
This system was reset. He could be that story figure to kind of explain that part
Because
of the
the
story.
reset always has to happen.
Yes.
And the only way for that to happen is to follow the events of the original trilogy, if you
Yes.
will. So they needed that new Morpheus to guide Neo to become the one,
So,
yeah, I don't know.
which is funny because the concept of the one was merely supposed to set up the fall of Zion.
Mm-hmm.
To get the humans more, we're going to go out active, be more
we have hope.
aggressive. Yes.
Yeah,
And then just
exactly.
start the war and then
Yeah,
collapse
exactly.
and reset. So the concept of the one is a trap. Which, going back to what you were saying, if the war was over and peace was established, that means that there's nothing to do a reset. So it could be that something else happened because now it's like we follow this routine for so many generations: war, collapse, reset. Now that we have peace, a third route popped up, and now we're going into uncharted territory. And this movie is the uncharted territory of what happened without the proper war, to make everything be the way it is.
Oh yeah.
So this is probably where the story's going.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited, dudes.
I'm excited.
And
I'm super stoked.
the fact that
And
we're getting a
I really
Spidey
like
film
the
and the
actor.
Matrix in December.
You're saying, Paul?
Oh, well, I was just saying the actor that's playing Morpheus, Yaya, like
Mhm.
he's just phenomenal. Like I love that dude. Like he's really starting to take off. Like he killed it in Candyman. If y'all remember him from the Black Mirror, the
Yes.
what Cobra episode, like that was a good
Yes.
one too. So I'm glad that they pulled in someone with a high caliber like actor to replace Lawrence Fishburne as Morpheus, just because Lawrence Fishburne is the man. Like he crushed it
Yes.
in that role. So I'm glad that they got like I said a high caliber actor for that replacement. Yeah, December's gonna be awesome because we got Cobra Kai season 4,
Oh yes.
Spider-Man, No Way
Mhm.
Home, The Matrix Revolutions.
Mhm.
In November we have Eternals, and Hawkeye.
Mhm.
It is.
October we got Venom.
It is a good year.
Oh my
It's a
god.
good generation to be a nerd.
Mhm.
I
Oh,
will
for
say that.
sure.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. I'm stoked, man. I'm stoked for everything that's coming.
Hell yeah. Same.
So we're at the point of our time. We're hitting the end of our schedule, for lack of a better term. So I always like to try to end our shows on a little bit of a, not a brain teaser, but like just a question.
Yeah.
Little nerd question. And we've been talking about like dramatic villains, deep storytelling that makes you think emotionally, like how would I be in that situation? What's one piece of nerd storytelling that made you really sit back and think about the villain's perspective?
Ooh.
And I'll go first with like a light example. And I was thinking about this the other night, just like laying in bed, just mind traveling. And I don't even know how I thought about it, but I was just thinking about Gargoyles, the old school cartoon
Oh
show.
yeah. Great.
And it made me think about Goliath's mate, right? The red-headed gargoyle that she was a villain and whatnot.
Oh, okay.
And I thought about her villain origin story about, when they were in the castle, I think it was Camelot or something like that.
Yeah.
And my memory is very hazy because when I saw this, I was a kid. But if memory serves, her villain origin story, and this I remember this since when I saw it, was that the humans found their nest,
Mhm.
and I guess her death in Goliath's eyes, that she went to go protect the hatchlings or the eggs, and the
Okay.
humans got in and just cleaned house.
Ooh.
And that was his way of losing her until she came back X amount of years later. She didn't die, but she witnessed the loss of all of their children.
Mhm.
And like as a kid, I saw that and I was like, wow, like I can't really. And looking back on it now, I was like, I can't really blame this character for being as aggressive as they are, as evil as they are, when they witnessed this atrocity happen to them. And that was like my first real critical thinking moment with
Yeah.
nerd culture and cartoons and stuff. And in my mind, it's like, yeah, I'm just watching these winged creatures fight villains and robots, and then it's like, cool, dynamic story.
Mhm.
So that was like one of my major nerd culture deep thinking moments. So that's like just my example to you guys. You know what I'm saying?
That's a deep question though.
So I'll go with one that's pretty recent because it's fresh in my mind. I felt bad for Starro in Suicide Squad.
Nice, good call.
Very
Because like
good
how
call.
he says at the end, he was like, I was enjoying my time floating through space, looking at the stars. Like I didn't ask for any of this. Y'all grabbed me. Y'all
Yes.
scooped me up. Y'all brought me here. Y'all experimented on me, and now I escaped. I'm gonna fuck shit up. I just
I just want to
yeah,
be left
like I
alone.
felt bad. I felt bad for him because like that line, it was just like I was enjoying my time looking at the stars, and I just felt like that was just so. I felt that was like real world related because there's so many of us that are just like I mean like it just too much happening, you know what I'm saying? Like we don't need to do this. We don't need to pursue certain things. Like, they didn't need to take Starro from space, you know what I'm saying? And I think in the real world it kind of like, there's certain things we're doing, now where it kind of was relatable, where like it feels like our government's doing too much. So that's why I was kind of just like, I felt where he was coming from. Like it was, and for them to be like covering up the whole thing too, it was, I understood why he wanted to take over the world. Like I felt it.
Nice. That was a great great freaking answer. Um, to tackle on something that's fresh in my mind because I just watched the new What If episode. I
Mhm.
would say Killmonger, honestly. He's the type of character who, got taken from his homeland, like he was the essentially an heir to
The
the
a
throne.
deposed prince.
Yeah, exactly. But instead, we saw his backstory in Black Panther, how his father was murdered and he was just left
Abandoned.
abandoned. And to watch this new What If episode, I was watching it with my girlfriend and I was just like, oh, I guess he, like she was like, oh, I guess he's turning a new leaf, like blah blah blah, whatever. And I'm like,
Plot
nah,
twist.
dude. I'm sure he
No.
has the same game plan right now. And sure enough, in that new episode, spoiler alert for people who didn't see it, he saves Tony Stark, but he went on to his plan to take over Wakanda,
Mhm.
and and it was very, very,
Methodical. Very
yes,
thought out.
very thought out, and every step of the way, he got to Wakanda, he
Mhm.
brought his army, and he took
Yep.
over and became the Black Panther, to fight against the army that he brought. Um, but to answer your question, he's just getting abandoned, living in oppression, just not getting that just living in that life where he had to fight his way through it.
Mhm.
For him to be a villain, like is he really a villain?
Right.
It's just like he got to a point where he just wants to burn it down,
Yeah.
and I think that he got to a point, and it's not because it's not because he's doing it in the sense of the Joker because he wants chaos. No, I mean, like
He wants to destroy
the
the
world.
system that wronged him.
Yeah, the
Ooh.
is that the question you're asking? Because I don't know.
I wasn't asking if he was a villain. What I was asking is what villain event made you sit and think?
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely a villain with the way he be killing people left and right.
Yeah,
his question is more of do the ends justify the means kind of villain.
yeah, I hear you. Does
But
it justify the means? I don't know, but I could see where he's coming from to
but
answer your question.
his
Oh,
way
yeah.
of thinking was very I want to destroy the system that wronged me. And it wasn't just like
Mm-hmm.
the American system of oppression. It was the Wakandan system
Oh,
of
yeah.
royalty of my royal family abandoning me, killing my father, and leaving me to the mercy of the world.
Mm-hmm.
Because like T'Challa told his dad in the next world, he's like, you didn't bring him home. You were wrong. You were all wrong for abandoning them. He didn't just tell his dad that. He told all his ancestors, you were all wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, and that's where the conflict comes in.
And that makes a good villain, to make
Exactly.
you think, like have that critical thinking.
And
Like,
it
are they
goes
really in the wrong?
it goes back to what I said about Wenwu was like, what would you do in that situation? Would you act any differently? Probably not.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But gentlemen, this is always fun.
Always cool.
New videos every other time we get in here.
Yeah. Right. Can't
Hope-
promise
Every
nothing.
3 months.
Hoping to get more
It's
frequent.
just it's just hard. Like we all work, and it's not that we get paid to do the podcast. So
Yet.
we do this out of
We'll get there.
Dropping that
Yeah, right.
Patreon link soon.
we do this out of enjoyment and stuff like that. But we all work full-time jobs. Like I'm currently 7 days a week. I know Keith works
Like
like
a
6
mouse.
days a week. James is working
yeah.
6 days a week.
Yeah.
So we're all dying.
Yeah, we got a lot going on in life and everything like
the
that.
world,
but
COVID, surgeries.
Oh, yeah, just rolling with the punches, if you will. But it's always a
forgot
pleasure to get
COVID's
in this
still
room
around.
with you guys, and be able to talk about things that we love,
Always.
all the nerd shit.
All the
we
nerd
talk about
shit.
all of it.
Yes.
On that note,
Yeah.
I love you guys.
Love you
Until
too,
the
bro.
next episode, and of course, peace out, one love, and two.
Come on, Paul. Come on, Paul.
You gotta reach it in.
Sweet.
Sweet.
With the land Paul's in, but it's all good. All right, folks. We are the Sinister Simps. It has been a pleasure. Y'all have a good one.
Oh yeah.
Peace.